Om Namah Shivaya, Asenest Fire here on The Way of Dharma. So this title of the video, I am calling it How to Become a Wizard. So welcome to The Way of Dharma. Our topic for today is how to become a wizard. Why am I choosing this title? It's because I want to appeal to every magician's curiosity and interest, of course, and I also want to impart some knowledge on the subject. So I have to use such terms. So what's a definition of a wizard? A definition of a wizard is an old man who is wise, basically. That's what it means if you can check the word wizard. Okay? However, in this context, we are going to use it in how to become a magician. So this is what we will be referring to when we speak of a wizard. So please make sure that you stay tuned and make sure that you pay attention to what we are discussing over here. So before we continue, I'd like to remind each and every one of you who come across this channel for the first time and those who come across the channel for the second time or even the third time or multiple times. Please make sure that you do subscribe to The Way of Dharma. Make sure that you like this video and make sure that you hit the notification icon to make sure that you get notified on future uploads. So yes guys, let's continue. How to become a wizard. Firstly, you have to understand the art in which we are trying to practice. It is magic. What is magic? Magic is causing change in accordance with your will. Meaning, if you want something to happen and you are able to make it happen by using the subtle forces of nature, you are in actuality performing magic. So, performing that magic as a man, you would be regarded wise, okay? Because you are intelligent enough to manipulate those forces to bring about the desired outcome or result. So pay attention when I say how to become a wizard. Magic, like any other thing that you do continuously, requires practice. The practice will yield a skill. If you go out to the gym and work out, you exercise your muscles and you gain muscle. Gaining that muscle would come about a result of going to gym every day and actually doing the workouts without no cheating. So magic is no exception when thinking of this rule. Practice, practice, practice. Start with the folly things of life. Suppose you want to see a certain old friend, you can do a spell to actually see the old friend. Whatever that you can do that's mundane, that's gonna give you a result. Do it, okay? Do a ritual for it, do a spell for it, and then you will see the results. As you see the results, you will start to have faith in magic and your power of manipulating or using these subtle forces. Rule number 1 of becoming a magician. Now we're going further into detail. Rule number 1 of becoming a magician. Always be confident in your ability to perform magic. Rule number 1 of becoming a wizard. Be convicted, be rooted, and be confident in your ability to practice magic. Let no one tell you nothing of your ability. Rule number 2, never ask how your results would manifest. Never even try to find a logical thinking as to how your results will come about. Never ever stress yourself with the logics. Rule number 3, never ever be logical when you are a magician. Don't you ever be logical when you are a magician. You don't become logical. Know what you want and then stick to that. Nothing else. Nothing else. You understand? So as you stick to what you want, stay convicted in it, and then give it your all, and then you will see results start to manifest. Never ever flinch. Never ever doubt yourself. Never ever doubt your ability. Basically, what I'm telling you is that you have to have trust and faith in yourself. Those are the rules of magic. So now let's go into the subtle forces. How are they actually working? I did a video explaining to you the principles of nothing. I will go further and deeper today, to my ability, of course. You have the universe, or the unmanifest. The unmanifest is a chunk of energy which is moldable or malleable to any form you desire. You hope for beautiful things, it listens to your mind and molds it to the positivities of life. You fear a certain thing, it uses the energy of fear to manifest that which you fear, because now you are giving it an instruction to manifest your fear, and then you back it with the energy of fear, so you get a result. So that's how the subtle forces work. Another thing that you need to pay attention to, the mind is what you make it. How you perceive life should be based upon your mind, how you want things to be. You shouldn't perceive life from what you see externally. Never ever yield to what you see externally. Never ever yield to the scam of life that you see externally. Because if you start to do that, it will start to dictate your ability in performing and practicing magic. That's not what we want. Another thing, your growth, how you grew up, your beliefs, your routines, your tradition, your culture, they become what you are today. They become your thinking patterns. They become your vocabulary, and they become a belief, and they end up limiting you and dictating how you live your life. So you must always be flexible in your thinking. Never ever think that how you grew up, the information that you got in, how things were done, your culture, your tradition. Never ever think that it is you and that's your destiny, because it will limit you, it will limit your practice, and it will limit your thinking, and it will limit your path and aspirations in life. of course. I remember, and it's still an ongoing fact, most people, Africans, they always tell me that I'm turning my back on my ancestors because now I'm practicing Hinduism, I'm practicing Western esotericism, I'm practicing Western witchcraft, hermeticism, and magic, and the left-hand path. They say because I do that, I'm turning against my ancestors. What are they trying to put in my thinking? What are they trying to program me into? They are trying to program me into my culture, my tradition, and what they are accustomed to, which are customs, basically. These things were started by the people that came before you. Why would you want the people that came before you to dictate how you think today? Your limitations, your aspirations, your practice. Why would you want that? Why would you want that? Some of the things are even superstitions. So you're holding on to superstitional beliefs and superstition spirituality. I had someone telling me that when you masturbate and charge sigils based off of the masturbations, spirits will come through portals and they will bring about distraction to your life. And then I ask about these portals. Have they ever seen the portals? No. It's just something they think. It's something that they heard of from someone else. So now it's become a belief. It's become a custom. It's become a tradition, a culture, and so on and so forth. So they live within the vicinity of the other person's thinking. And they wonder why they can't be effective in life. Because there's always someone above you making the thinking for you, limiting you in your pursuits, in your experimentations, and all that stuff. This video came about as a result of me looking at my old diaries, magical practice diaries, and grimoires to actually look back and reflect. The level of sadhana is surprising. What I used to do is surprising, guys. And what I've managed to achieve magically in just 4 years is surprising. The level of development and growth that I've reached in these few years, it's surprising. You can't even tell that I'm still a beginner in the occult scheme of things. Why? Because when I choose a belief, I stay with that belief, I stay convicted in that belief, and I stay firm on that belief. Magic is a tool or a skill that requires your will. If you have a wavering will, you won't make it. You won't make it. You will face a small obstacle and then you will waver in your thinking and in your will, and then you will stop. Stay convicted, like the Afrikaner man when he came to South Africa, telling us that South Africa is the land of his ancestors. He says it so in the next generations, people would be thinking that the Afrikaner is in actuality a South African. You understand? Because they are convicted in what they are saying. They have so much confidence and conviction in what they say. So we start to believe them. The conviction, the confidence is the energy required to mold the unknown or the unmanifest into what you want. You and you alone are the creator of your universe. And what you've accumulated as a perception, as a custom, as an idea will dictate the limits that you can reach in your sadhana, in your magical practice. Now guys, another thing that you must know is that you must know yourself, know your temperament, know the level of endurance you have to be an effective wizard or a magician. You understand? Because you would know your weak points, and you would know, in the case of warfare, what are your tough points, and you would know where to go to have a strong spiritual practice. You understand? Because in this spiritual path, you will meet so many interesting characters. Some people will even try to bewitch you just because you have a different idea from what they are thinking. So just because of that, they will try to put magic on you. They will try to jujufy you. You understand? So this is not a path for the faint-hearted. If you are flinching in your thinking, if you are wavering in your will, it's time to change that to become an effective wizard or magician. Never ever ever doubt yourself, because if you doubt yourself, you will manifest the doubt. Another thing that you should pay attention to when you practice at magic, you develop willpower. What is willpower? It is equivalent to magical power. The more you have magical power, you will start to manifest things spontaneously. That is when you will need to have control over your mind. You will need to be able to choose the thoughts that you entertain, because anything goes. You might manifest yourself into destruction with your thinking. So control of mind is vital and necessary. Do sadhana every day. Practice rituals every day. Never ever ever, especially if you are beginning, never stop your practice for any reason. I remember, because I used to like women. I remember casting spells on them and then sleeping with them, and then after sleeping with them, you basically become tired. And then after becoming tired, I would come to my ashram and continue my sadhana. That's the level of discipline that is required to strengthen your will. Another thing, it's so amazing, guys. You know, the past year has been so tough. It was so challenging. I think it was the dark night of the soul. It's so amazing the things that I've enjoyed last year. But today, I'm still here, and my faculties are starting to open up. I dream better. I perceive spiritual things better, regardless of my pause or my retardation in or retrogress in the practice of spirituality. I still am an effective magician, because I used to practice so much to a point whereby I would do like 5 spiritual practices like daily, and it wouldn't be a hassle to me. I would just divide it. Maybe in the morning I do something, and then late in the afternoon or in the evening I do something. Every day I do that. Every day I do that. So guys, that's the level of discipline that is required to be an effective magic. Practice makes perfect. There is no miracles in this scheme of things, or in this occult space. Basically, practice is key. Practice is key. You have to keep on practicing and practicing and practicing. I like a guy, Alan Chapman. He says that if you don't practice magic, don't expect to have a better financial situation. Basically, don't expect to have a better woman or a better life in general. If you don't practice magic, don't expect those things. Those things come about as a result of practice. And another thing that people need to know, when you are a magician, you become sensitive. And then the spirits that you work with, they don't want with their friend or with their initiate. They will always fight for you. So people must be careful who they anger, because they will witness a backlash, basically. And this, I used to pay attention to it a lot in my previous years. You will find someone who's trying to run game on me or trying to get something out of me, and in a few weeks you'd see that person having a messed up life. When you practice magic, certain forces don't want you to reach your ultimate potential, so they will use everything in their power to try and stop you. So you must also be wary of them. Practice magic if you want to be an effective magician. An effective magician doesn't come about from being behind the scenes and being a spectator in the occult scheme of things. There's so many limiting beliefs, so many limited thinking that limits how you perceive things in your mind in the occult scheme of things. So you must be wary of them. There's people that call themselves light workers, and there's people that call themselves black magicians. There's left hand path, there's right hand path. Be careful of such people, because they limit you in your thinking. Never ever ever pinpoint or try to call yourself one thing. Remember, magic is a system of yoga. What are we trying to unite? We are trying to unite our two sides, basically. So you would unite them by use of magic or practice of magic. So limiting yourself to only one side of being a black magician or of being a right or light magician, you would only be limiting yourself. You understand? So be careful of that thinking. Guys, there's so many surprising things about people. You know, you meet people in this spiritual space or occult space. You meet people that have, I don't know if they have bad luck of accumulating bad knowledge, basically. You find a spiritual person still believing in those videos of the people exposing the Illuminati. I mean, how do you become spiritual and you don't even know that the Illuminati has 13 bloodlines and it's only restricted to the elite, the few elite. So if you see Chris Brown dancing in those videos, he's not an Illuminati. You understand? Another thing that you should pay attention to when you want to become a wizard, an effective wizard, your power can only be judged by you. Don't ever judge yourself based off of the people's perceptions. Meaning, if you have some occultists that would tell you that don't practice things such as the Goetia, they are not good for you, or don't go inside that river, there's snakes that will come and get you. Want to experience things firsthand. Don't take the other person's word for it, unless if it's an advanced guru. Who is your guru? Because there's some people who try to give you advice, but then when you ask them for the right thing, they can't provide the right thing. So they want to limit you. I don't know who sent them, but they want to limit you and your practice. So you have to be careful of such people. If someone comes to give you advice or to tell you to stay away from such a practice, such and such a practice, they must be able to give you an alternative to replace your practice. You understand? Guys, magic or the magical space is not a place for logic, calculative thinking, and scientific, because science is also a religion which has its own jargon, like the molecules and the what atoms. It's jargon for science. So in the academic side of science, they use the jargon and they have their form of thinking which limits them and tells them that certain things can be done because they don't have physical evidence. That scientific thinking does not work here in magic. Things happen that you wouldn't even dream of seeing, basically, in this magical scheme of things. If you are a person practicing Hinduism, or if you are not a person who isn't practicing Hinduism, guys, mantra japa, find something to chant. In Vedic side of life or Vedic spirituality, or in Sanatana Dharma, find a mantra to chant and continue chanting it. Guys, a mantra is a very, very powerful tool, because you develop a concentration that is unmatched, basically, and it develops effortlessly, because you wouldn't be seeing where you are going when you're doing it daily. But then when you look back and when you see how your mind is developing, how you are able to endure certain things, you start to see that this thing has a certain impact on your mind. So you become powerful, your will is stronger. I mean, guys, for someone to chant a mantra after having sex, guys, being tired as you are and being able to perform rituals after that thing, guys, it's a willpower that's not met, basically. Try also to read about the Aghori, or find a YouTube video talking about the Aghori. The Aghori, they will teach you a thinking that is all inclusive. The Aghori will teach you that all is divine, and everything that happens is another form of the creator, or the Brahman, the higher energy, the higher force. So when you have such thinking, you won't have a victim mentality to be an effective wizard, you also have to throw away victim mentality. If you won't save yourself, then who will? You have to develop that mindset and never ever listen to what the people tell you about what and what you cannot do, because this world basically is full of such people. The people we love, they keep on telling us what we can and what we cannot do. So guys, it's a very, very spiritual warfare. It's a spiritual warfare. It's a psychic attack on its own. Being with such people who tell you what you can and what you cannot do. However, what I will advise you is not to cut off your loved ones if you still love them. It is to detach from their thinking. Know that you are not this body. Know that you are soul, and you are not their thoughts and whatever that they will try to impose upon you. Seek that peace, that bliss inside of you, and never pay attention to what they say. I know it's hard, but keep that mindset detached. And I'm telling you, if you do that, your energy will be strong enough to even influence them. They'll start to think like you, and they'll come changing to your path little by little. You understand? Just be convicted in your practice and stay in your practice. So guys, we are about to reach the conclusion of the video. I'd like to tell you this first, okay? I now offer numerology readings, okay? Now this numerological reading, it will consist of your lucky days, your temperament, your character, and your destiny. You understand? So in that numerological reading, you will know certain aspects about yourself. What would be your limiting beliefs? What would be your limiters in Magick? And if you qualify to be a powerful, effective practitioner, what are the steps that you can do? What are the other steps that you can take to harmonize your life if you have bad luck? What can you strategically do to mitigate the forces that are against you? It's so liberating to know about yourself to that extent. Guys, it's a very, very powerful thing to actually be able to know so much about yourself. So guys, if you want a numerological reading, please make sure that you do comment and then contact me on my email, arsenest.fya@gmail.com. It's arsenest.fire@gmail.com. I'm gonna repeat it. It's arsenest.fya@gmail.com. And then we'll speak on whether we do a Skype call or we do a WhatsApp video call, where I will be doing your numerological reading. And then after we are done, I will send all those things that I was advising you about to your email, so that you can save them somewhere and know what to do to actually be effective as a practitioner. How to become an effective Magick practitioner. If you are able, based on what we will find on the numerological reading, I'll be telling you more or less if you should follow a certain spiritual practice or a spiritual system. What would be your tough points in that spiritual system? What would be your weakest points in the spiritual system? If you are able to adapt to each and every spiritual system and actually mix and do a chaos mixture of everything. I will tell you that information if it's applicable in your numbers, and I will also tell you more about yourself. Basically, what are the times that are much more favorable to you to actually perform certain rituals, to actually act in a certain way. Another thing, to become an effective wizard, you must know that certain things, if you want them to manifest fast, they have to be within your vicinity or within your reality. Suppose you want a girlfriend, you can't do a magical ritual and then you can't approach women. Basically, out of 100 women, how many women do you know that actually approach men? So will you have enough willpower to actually make a woman come and approach you? Are you attractive enough to even make that happen? Are you physically able to receive such a thing? You understand? So you must back your magic with a physical act that will bring you closer to the results. You understand? Just a tweak to show the unknown that you are convicted in what you do, and then you are surrendering by doing that act that you are doing to tweak your reality. Mantras are powerful. You should be careful and know that whatever that you do with mantras, it can be permanent, basically. Also, the beautiful thing about mantras, they burn up your karma. How do they burn up your karma? What they are trying to say here when they say this, guys, when you do spiritual practice, do it every day so that the energy that you attain or accumulate by doing spiritual practice in this life will be enough to put you in a higher state of existence in the next life. You can either come back as an ascended master, or you can come back as an effective magical practitioner. Such abilities will be accessible to you in the next life because you would have become effective in them in this present life time. You understand? So what happens, like I said, we are recorders of information for the higher energy, the Brahman, the Supreme Soul. We are recorders of information. So whatever that you do in this life, it gets recorded in your DNA. So when you do spiritual practice, you will exhaust all your karmas because you will now record spiritual energy, spiritual magical power, and spiritual practice in your DNA. It can give you a giant leap and you can overcome and burn your karmas. So that's how powerful mantras and spiritual practice is, basically. So guys, that's what I'm telling you to do if you want to be an effective magical practitioner, a wizard, a powerful wizard. Do that now, and then you will see. If you don't get results now, definitely in the next life you'll be able to be like Arsonist Fire, bewitching people and getting the girl of your dreams using magic. So guys, numerological readings, I offer them. I will tell you surprising things about yourself. Even in school, because I've decided to go back to school this year. So guys, I've been doing this for a lot of people, and I feel a certain compassion, man, for people, man. I start to understand What's numbing them? Like, man, I'll talk about that in the numerological video that I would be doing, talking about numerology. So guys, it's a very, very powerful tool. Please make sure that you do hit me up on the email. It's asnest.fya@gmail.com. and then guys, it's always an honor to receive donations from you guys. Please, if you have something, doesn't matter if it's $1, $2, $10, $100, that would be great, you understand? So even guys from India, if you benefit from this channel, please make sure that you do support through PayPal. It will be linked in the description, and you can send any amount. Basically any amount is accepted. And guys, for the numerological reading, will speak in the email on the consultation fee, because it's more of a consultation to actually make you a better person. And I will also, yes, that's what I will do. I also offer such consultations for people who want to influence people with magic. I can also tell them that their toughest points, and then if you want to meet a mate of your life, I will talk to you about it, and then we'll find out about the temperament of the person. We'll try to find out more about the person to make sure that we go ahead and do this ritual for you, and then you will get your results. Another thing that you should know with magic, guys, there's no way that you can do a ritual and you will get nothing. You will get results and they will startle you, so you must know what you want. Be careful of that. There is no way that you are not going to get a result. So guys, be careful, know what you want. Asnest Fire here on the way of Dharma. Thank you for everything. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the donations. Om Namah Shivaya. Ugram Viram Mahashaktim Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham Pratyangira Bhishanam Bhadram Mrityum Namamyaham. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.